It was the day of the concert in King Triton's kingdom, at the magical bottom of the sea. Mermaids and mermen hurried towards the enchanted enclosure, eager to secure a privileged spot. The sparkle of the waters reflected the excitement in the air, as sea creatures of all colors and shapes moved in harmony. Sebastio, the composer crab, was in his position, giving the first signs to organize the orchestra. The musical notes began to float gently, preparing hearts for the spectacle that was to come. It was going to be a very special night, as in addition to King Triton's 6 daughters performing, the young and charming mermaid Ariel would sing her first solo. The entire sea seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the moment when Ariel's crystalline voice would echo through the depths. The magic of music promised to envelop everyone present, transporting them to a world of dreams and wonders. Starfish twinkled like lanterns on the stage, illuminating the stage with a soft, mystical light. It was as if the ocean itself was conspiring to make that night unforgettable, plunging everyone into a state of pure magic and enchantment. The music began, and the mermaids sang a magical melody, which seemed to weave spells in the hearts of all who heard it. Each note was a whisper of the ocean, filled with mystery and enchantment. When it was Ariel's turn to sing, the large shell where she was supposed to be slowly opened, revealing an absolute void. A murmur of surprise ran through the room. The king, his face red with fury, shouted for Ariel, his voice echoing through the depths, and immediately ordered his merfolk to search for her. The atmosphere was charged with tension, as if the waters themselves were shaking. Nearby, Ariel and her friend Flounder happily swam around a sunken ship, fascinated by the underwater discoveries. Ariel's mind was so absorbed in exploration that she had completely forgotten about the concert. The soft sunlight filtering through the water created an almost magical scene around them. Suddenly, a chill ran down their spines. Without realizing it, a huge shark was stealthily approaching. Panic took over the two friends, who began to swim desperately, each movement a frantic fight for their lives. The shark, fast and relentless, was just meters away from reaching them, its predatory eyes fixed on its prey. The race for survival turned into a terrifying spectacle, where every second counted, and the magic of the ocean seemed, for a moment, to envelop them in a dance of life and death. Ariel then pulled Flounder, expertly guiding it through a small hole in a rusty anchor. The shark, in its voracity, tried to follow, but became trapped, unable to move. Their failed attempts echoed across the sea. "Well done," said Flounder with relief, as Ariel and his friend walked away calmly, their fins gliding gently through the calm waters, feeling safe again. Meanwhile, in the dark depths of the ocean, the witch Ursula watched intently through her magic ball. The malicious eyes shone with greed and desire. Ursula longed to possess the wonderful voice of the little mermaid, a jewel that would give her incomparable power. In the sunken ship, illuminated by rays of sunlight that penetrated the surface, Ariel found a curious object, an ancient fork. His mind was filled with questions about that mysterious artifact. Without hesitation, she quickly swam to the surface to show it to the know-it-all seagull, whose wisdom about the human world always fascinated her. The surrounding environment was permeated with magic, each moment more enchanting than the last. As Ariel and Flounder continued their adventures, unaware of the witch's eyes peering into the depths. "This is a fork. It belongs to the human world and is used to comb hair," replied the know-it-all, with an air of wisdom and conviction. Ariel, delighted with the discovery, returned home, gliding gracefully through the crystal-clear waters. On the way, a sudden memory hit him like a wave. I forgot about the concert. Dad will be so angry." Ariel's heart quickened, and she hurried back, her fins cutting through the water with urgency. When he finally arrived, King Triton was waiting, his expression stern and worried. Upon speaking with Ariel, he discovered not only that she had forgotten about the concert, but also that she had risen to the surface in search of human treasures. "I order you not to return to the surface," shouted the father, his voice echoing through the depths with a mixture of anger and concern. Ariel felt a wave of sadness and frustration, but before she could protest, the king walked away, leaving her with her conflicting emotions. Triton went directly to talk to the crab Sebastio, his confidence and concern reflected in his eyes. "Sebastio, I need you to watch Ariel. Make sure she doesn't return to the surface," ordered the king, his voice full of authority and anxiety. Sebastio, realizing the seriousness of the task, nodded solemnly. He knew that Ariel's curiosity was like the tides, always pulling her toward new adventures. However, the king's request was clear and heavy with the concern of a protective father. With renewed determination, Sebastio followed Ariel closely, watching the young mermaid's every move. The waters around them seemed to whisper ancient secrets, and the magical glow of the ocean made every moment more immersive. The tension between Sebastio's duty and Ariel's dreams created a magical atmosphere, where their destiny seemed to be guided by forces greater than themselves. Sebastian nodded, knowing that his task would not be easy, but determined to protect Ariel, even if it meant facing the dangers and charms of the human world. The magic of the ocean enveloped everyone present, each drop of water carrying a secret, each current a promise of new adventures and challenges. Ariel continued to dream about the human world, and didn't understand how a world that created such beautiful things could be so bad, as her father told her. His nights were filled with dreams and curiosity. His songs carried a deep longing. One stormy night, the rough sea roared, and a ship struggled against the furious waves. On board was young Prince Eric, his face determined despite the danger. The sea became increasingly rough, and one of the sailors shouted, "A hurricane is coming, Lord!" But before they could react, giant waves hurled the ship against the rocks. The boat broke apart, and Eric was thrown overboard, submerged in the treacherous waters. Ariel, realizing the disaster, swam quickly towards it, her heart full of courage and determination. With almost magical strength, she pulled the prince to the surface and took him to the beach, where she sang softly until he woke up. The melody was like a spell, lulling him between life and consciousness. When Eric finally opened his eyes, he met Ariel's bright gaze. "One day I will be part of your world," said Ariel, her voice full of hope and magic. Then she quickly pulled away, plunging into the depths before he could respond. The prince was found by a servant who took him back to the palace. On the way, Eric told him about the beautiful girl with the wonderful voice who had saved him. His eyes sparkled as he remembered the mysterious mermaid. When King Triton discovered that Ariel had risen to the surface again, his fury was overwhelming. "Ariel, humans are all the same. They are wild and incapable of love," he shouted, and with a blow of his trident, he destroyed all the treasures that Ariel had collected. A disconsolate Ariel watched her precious finds crumble into golden dust, her heart heavy with sadness. The magic of the ocean seemed for a moment to turn dark and cold, reflecting Ariel's pain and disillusionment. Even so, a flame of hope continued to shine in her heart, fueled by the dream of one day being part of the world that fascinated her so much. As Ariel cried, her tears mixed with the seawater, creating a sparkling glow around her. Suddenly, two evil eels emerged from the shadows, slithering silently and whispering, "All your dreams can come true if you talk to Ursula, the sea witch." The promise of a magical solution made Ariel's heart beat faster, and she decided to look for Ursula. He swam through the dark waters, feeling a mixture of fear and hope, until he reached the witch's sinister lair. Ursula, enveloped in an aura of dark power, smiled cunningly when she saw the young mermaid. "Of course I can help you, dear Ariel," said Ursula, her voice soft and enigmatic. "But in return, I want your voice." Ariel hesitated for a moment, but the desire to make her dreams come true was stronger. She agreed to the deal, feeling a mix of apprehension and expectation. Magic enveloped the environment, and a spell began to be cast, enveloping Ariel in a mysterious and magical light, while her sweet voice was captured by the witch. Ariel wanted so much to have the legs to go to the prince she had fallen in love with that she accepted the witch's proposal. But Ursula added, with a sinister smile, "You will have 3 days until sunset for the prince to fall in love with you. If that doesn't happen, you will be a mermaid again and my slave forever." Ariel agreed, her heart full of hope and determination. Before long, she found herself on the beach, her tail transformed into beautiful legs. Prince Eric, who was walking his dog on the sand, saw Ariel and ran to her, his heart beating fast. "Have we already met?" he asked, curiosity shining in his eyes. Ariel, without her voice, could only nod, a shy smile on her lips. Eric felt that Ariel was the mermaid who had saved him, but how could he be sure? She couldn't speak, let alone sing. Eric, overcome by an inexplicable feeling of familiarity, took Ariel to the palace and introduced her to everyone. The days passed, and the two were very happy together, every moment shared full of laughter and complicit looks. The magic of the ocean seemed to have followed Ariel, enveloping every moment in an enchanting aura. Time, however, continued to pass, and the sunset of the 3rd day approached, bringing with it uncertainty and hope for a happy ending. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the ocean, King Triton was worried because he couldn't find Ariel anywhere. His worry grew with every moment, a dark foreboding enveloping his fatherly heart. Far away, Ursula watched Ariel and the prince through her magic ball, noticing the growing affection between them. Her eyes glittered with mischief as she hatched a plan to separate them. With a sinister smile, the witch cast a spell and transformed into a beautiful young woman named Vanessa. Using Ariel's enchanting voice, kept in a magical shell around her neck, Ursula, now Vanessa, walked towards Prince Eric. Her presence radiated a mysterious beauty, and when she spoke, Ariel's voice flowed melodiously, bewitching the prince's ears. Ursula's plan was underway, and the magic of Ariel's voice, used in a treacherous way, began to confuse the prince's heart. The witch's dark intentions cast a shadow over Ariel's hope, while the two lovers' fates hung by a thin, magical thread. When the prince heard Vanessa sing, he was immediately enchanted. His mind was filled with a magical and irresistible feeling, and he decided to marry her. Ariel, with a heavy heart with sadness, felt that she had lost the love of her life and would be Ursula's slave forever. But hope still shone. Sabadeo, Ariel's seagull friend, who was on board the boat where Eric and Vanessa were getting married, managed to discover the truth. Vanessa was, in fact, Ursula in disguise. Quickly, he flew to warn Sebastio. Sebastio, together with other sea animals, organized a plan to prevent the wedding. On board the ship, chaos began. The sea creatures worked together, creating a magical and intense mess. In the midst of the commotion, the witch's conch shell fell to the ground, breaking into 1,000 pieces. At that moment, Ariel regained her voice. The magical melody flowed from his lips, filling the air with pure, crystalline enchantment. Prince Eric, upon hearing Ariel's real voice, felt Ursula's spell break. He looked at Ariel, finally understanding the truth. Love and magic intertwined in the air, promising a happy and enchanted ending for Ariel and Eric, while Ursula watched her plans crumble before her eyes. The full moon illuminated the sea, reflecting the purity of true love. Ariel's sea friends celebrated all around, their songs harmonizing with the night breeze. The magic of the night enveloped everyone, bringing peace and joy, and promising a future full of adventures and wonders. Upon seeing Eric, Ariel called out to him, her voice now full of emotion and hope. Eric, surprised and delighted, replied, "You can talk. It's you then. It has always been you." Ariel and Eric were about to kiss when suddenly, Ursula transformed into a colossal sea monster and dragged Ariel towards her. Night fell quickly, and Ariel's legs returned to a mermaid's tail, plunging her into despair. King Triton appeared, his face serious and determined. Ursula, with a malevolent smile, told him about the agreement she had made with her daughter. The king, in a desperate attempt to save Ariel, proposed to the witch, "Free my daughter and I will remain your slave." Ursula, rejoicing, accepted the offer. Once she acquired the king's powers, she became even bigger and badder, her voice echoing in the depths. "Now I'm the one in charge of the ocean. Ha ha ha." Upon seeing this, the brave Prince Eric made a bold decision. He steered the ship directly towards Ursula, crashing into the witch hard. Ursula, surprised, sank into the sea, and the king's powers returned to him. King Triton, recognizing the true love between Eric and Ariel, decided to make one last gesture of fatherly love. With a magical touch of his trident, he transformed Ariel's tail into legs again, allowing her to live happily ever after alongside her Prince Eric. Magic enveloped the ocean, each wave singing the melody of eternal love. The stars in the sky shone brighter, and the inhabitants of the sea celebrated the triumph of love and courage. Ariel and Eric, hand in hand, looked to the future with hearts full of hope and happiness, ready to live a life of adventures and dreams come true together.